Welcome to episode 27 of the Grit Code Podcast, a place where we decode the steps to success on and off the field. I'm 11-year NFL veteran, three-time Pro Bowler Donte Whitner, alongside number 378 NFL Hall of Famer and 49ers legend Patrick Willis. And with us each and every week, Bay Area TV and radio analyst Rob Brooks. And this week, we have another special player, guys. And there are players, and then there are tone setters. Justin Cowboy Smith didn't chase attention. He set the standard. Blue collar, relentless, violent in the trenches. The kind of man who made toughness contagious and continued the temperature of the locker room. Before the All Pros, before the playoff runs, he was the foundation of those great Vic Fangio defenses. This is what grit looks like. Justin Cowboy Smith, welcome to the Grit Code, my brother.
It's good to see you used AI for your intro right there.
I did it. I put a little bit of thought to it.
Is that ChatGPT right there?
Yeah, when they fired me from NBC, I had to figure it out. So, I sit in the park and I put it together, half AI, half Donte Whitner intelligence.
Yeah, the Hittner intelligence app.
We got to figure this shit out. The world is changing, big dog.
The world's changing, buddy.
So we got to figure this thing out. So we really want to get right into it, and we want to start from the earlier days with you. Before the Pro Bowls, like I said, before you became Cowboy, how did you get introduced to the game of football, and what made you play the game the way that you played it?
I grew up in a country-ass environment. Town. It was like Friday Night Lights, man. It was like the coaching staff, I think at the time, the rookiest coach on that high school team had been there like 28 years. And they gave him shit every day for only being the rookie. So it was a foundation by the head coach who had retired, passed on by the coaches, and it was just all about toughness, doing it right, working hard, being accountable. A lot of the shit you don't hear about nowadays, I think, in the public school setting, right? And I mean, that's why I was in Missouri, my oldest son. That's why I brought him down to where I'm living now in Fort Lauderdale, because St. Thomas Aquinas, they have a team that kind of is like that, and that's what I was looking for. So that was kind of my experience, and basically just getting lucky as hell to grow up in that environment. Because I don't think.
Well, what was your upbringing like? Because a lot of times when you see the mannerisms that we play with, a lot of times, even for myself, Pat, yourself, it's more so about the upbringing. Like, what did you have to overcome and endure as a younger adolescent, that made you play the way that you played?
Well, I grew up on a farm. My dad was managing a farm. So, I mean, that's all I know. And then he got sick. Guillain-Barré syndrome. So we had to move off the farm and basically ended up where my grandpa's farm was at, and that's what brought me to that high school. But shit, I mean, if he probably would have got sick, I probably would have been running cows or some shit.
So you literally country strong.
Hey, I mean, I grew up doing hay, pulling calves, all that shit. So
that's where the work ethic came from.
Work ethic, man. You got up in the morning, you did your chores, you came home from school. I didn't play any sports until I was in like 7th grade. And they said, you're the wrong guy for sports. Nobody in my family had really done it. So sports is like for the other kids. You're going to work hard. So, but change of events, little factors that happens in everybody's lives and sends you off on a trajectory, definitely happened by me landing up at the school, the high school I went to.
And that was Jefferson High, right?
Yeah, Jefferson City, Missouri. I mean, it used to be a powerhouse for a public school. So I got really lucky to end up there.
So how did you end up there?
My grandpa owned a farm there, and basically my parents moved to Jeff City to raise us on a way smaller farm than I was growing up on, but still, have some land and stuff like that. But that's how I ended up there.
So a lot of that is like, oh, your father might have came on hard times early, and then he had to move to another farm with your granddad, which happens to us when we come from the inner city. If your mom and dad can't really handle rent, you have to go live with grandma and granddad. That's how I grew up, right? With 19 people in a 4-bedroom place in the inner city. So it's really a correlative thing there with guys that grew up on farms, because Pat grew up on a farm and I grew up in the inner city, but there's some type of predestined story that happens amongst all of us.
It's that adversity, it's that adversity that happens in everybody's lives, and it's what you do with that shit. It's either you're going to end up where you're going to end up based off how you react to that adversity, not just because you had some adversity. Everybody has adversity, but if you choose to do the right thing, work hard, train hard, figure out at a young age. I always told people, especially my boys now, I said, don't believe all this shit that you got to your 30, 35 to figure something out. I said, you got to start figuring this shit out now in middle school, high school. You know what I mean? Like you don't have as long as you think you have. Yeah. And if you get used to putting in that work ethic now, then it just comes easy as you go on. You add to that.
Man, that's one thing I can say about you, Cowboy, is that every day from 2008 to 2014,
Now,
2015 to now, the way it looks, man, you grinded every day. I would say in that 2011, before I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I remember that 2011 season that we had. Well, before the 2011 season, we had that lockout, and we worked out down in San Jose. And when I tell you, Donte and Rod, that was the strongest and the biggest I'd ever gotten, to the point to where I was like, man, I gotta stop working out with Cowboy and Ray and Isaac. It would have me. I mean, I was swole. I'm like, oh no, I can't move like this, man. This is too much. I mean, I look good, I look the part, but I still had to say, man, one thing you always had was work ethic. And I always wondered where it came from, because some people, like, they only work as much as they need to work to just get by on the field, and there's others that you see him working, you like, nah, this man got something else in him. And so to hear that you grew up on a farm and whatnot, that makes all the sense in the world now. So,
and you want to know something crazy? We were all in the locker room for multiple years, and a lot of this information never even came out.
I mean, everybody was going trying to play. I mean, that's the thing. When you're playing, you know what I mean? Everybody's a little bit too, because a lot of us, Pat was drafted there, but a lot of us were brought in. Mm-hmm. And, it's always a little bit different when you're that guy brought in, not drafted. Because I had a different feeling when I was at Cincinnati because I was drafted there. And then it's like you hit that free agency again, which in reality, you're really a free agent coming out of college. You just don't really realize it yet. You still got that. You're in a program. You were chosen. They want you here. But then once you get that free agency tour, at least for me, I was just like, man, I already made a bunch of friends. I ain't looking for that shit. And then you end up getting somewhere and you become even better friends with guys.
Right.
So it's like the mentality I had going into San Fran was a lot different than what I had going to the Bengals and switching positions, because I got switched too to outside linebacker. I was like, well, shit, I'm going to be here for about 6 weeks. I don't know what the hell they're thinking. Put me an outside linebacker. We'll see how long this goes.
Hey, if we could go back to your high school days and then going into college, it's kind of the same question, but a two-part question. When did you know you were good at football, and when did you know that football could change your life and your family's life?
I would say probably my senior year of high school, I knew I was good. I didn't know how good because I had only played people in the Midwest, St. Louis, Kansas City. So I was always hearing about Florida guys, Texas guys. So I was like, California guys. I was like, shit, I never played against one of them. They can't be that damn good. But going into college, We won state championship. Sure, just like these guys, start training the next day. And then just basically going to college like I ain't redshirting. And we come in and kicking ass. And that's just kind of how I always was wired from high school on. Like, I'm not going to watch anybody play football. Like, I'm here, I'm going to be playing. So and that's usually the time you get to the league and around good dudes on the right team. Everybody's kind of got that same makeup and way of thinking.
And it's funny that you said that because it sounds like an inflection point when you're like, oh, these guys from Texas and Florida, oh, they're ranked higher than me, whatever. There's a perception as a young kid. And the person that broke that perception for me was Ted Ginn Sr., Ted Ginn Jr.'s father. We were on that. I told this story before. We were going like a 30 school tour in the summertime, running 40s, doing verticals, all the stuff you see on TV now. And he put out a magazine and he explained to us how a lot of these players get in the magazine, but look at their times. You run the same fast as they do. You jump higher than them. So once he explained that to us, everybody in that car was either a first round or a second round draft pick.
Right.
From Anthony Gonzalez to myself to Troy Smith to Ted Ginn Jr. to Roy Hall to a bunch of guys, David Patterson. A lot of these guys end up being NFL players, first and second round draft picks. So that's that inflection point that every kid I feel like needs. You need somebody to take that perception out of your head that you can't do it and show you in a plain and simple way as to why you can. So I thank Ted Ginn Sr. for that actual moment.
Yeah, I think too, for me, I know P. Willie's story too. I was probably a lot more just blissfully ignorant. Like, I didn't know any better, and I didn't really give a shit. You know, they didn't really have. They just had magazines back then. I didn't get no magazine. I didn't know anybody was ranked. I didn't know anything about stars. You know, it was just like we bringing in these good guys from Humboldt, Texas, and places like that. I'm like, here we go. Here we go.
So, line that shit up. Let's get it.
Line that shit up. We're gonna see who walks out of this shit, man. So I think that's just the mentality from a small town. You didn't have all these quote studs, 5 stars walking around. You didn't know any better. You just knew you had to train, and you train. You put the work in. You think you got a chance.
But definitely the cream always rises to the top. And then you go to Missouri, you kick a lot of ass, like you always have, and you become the number 4 draft pick overall. And at that time, you go high, you go into a pretty shitty organization. And at that time, the Cincinnati Bengals were a pretty shitty team and a pretty shitty organization. How was that? And then go into the contrast of Cincinnati Bengals. Now you come to the 49ers. Did you feel like you just made it to the NFL when you got to the 49ers?
No, I mean, I was fortunate going to Cincinnati in the regard we had some really good players on the defensive side of the ball. We had Takeo Spikes.
Yeah.
We had Brian Simmons. We had Steve Foley. I could go on and on and on. And some really good DBs. So they were structured. When I first got there, our defense was pretty good. Our offense sucked. Then you bring in Marvin Lewis, who is the defensive guru, and we get Carson Palmer, Chad Johnson, Rudy Johnson, Willie Anderson, all these guys, and then we're not getting anybody on defense. I'm like, you're the guru on defense. Then we're going to become an offensive team. So it was kind of a contrast to the two. I really learned early on, especially from guys like Takeo. You know, he's always been, but that dude was passionate as hell. He'd come in the locker room, be throwing shit at the whiteboard, and I was like, damn. So I learned a lot from them guys, and we had some old school guys too. You know, because Cincinnati used to be, once you came here as a vet, this was it. You're done. The ride's over. The last hurrah. So we had dudes that were in their 13th, 14th, 15th year. Some of them just collecting a check.
Fresh off the street, just like Buffalo.
Right?
Fresh off the street, each and every week, you rotating guys in. You like, damn, I'm supposed to give you the call. I don't even know your name.
You don't even know your name.
How are we supposed to win a game?
We had linebackers starting that had been like on the couch the week.
Exactly. 2 days of practice.
Yeah.
In Buffalo too.
Same thing, man. It's like we ain't got a chance.
And they're like, Whitner, it's your fault. And I'm like, oh no, it's not.
Yeah, so it's how that organization goes about that. And then, as we all know, you go to San Fran, the Yorks and all them, they want to win. And they'll spend the money, they'll bring in the talent, talk to you in the locker room. Who do you think we need? Stuff like that, which was mind-blowingly different.
So when it came down to making a decision to go to San Francisco, what were your determining factors?
Really my only other couple options was Tampa, Minnesota, and San Fran for about the similar deal. And I was like, well, I don't want to go to Minnesota. It's cold as hell up there. I just came from playing outside. Cincinnati, we practice outside every day. So, and then
Buffalo too.
Yep. And then that San Fran defense was, I thought, up and coming. Patrick was going into his second year. Manny Lawson. We got yeah. I mean, had some good young dudes, hard playing dudes. Didn't know about Ray McDonald, some of these guys that ended up being really good later on, but just kind of seeing the talent on that team and what could possibly happen. I didn't know, but I was like, shit, it's worth a shot. And I like the organization as well. Candlestick, when we used to play up there and all that stuff, it just seemed like a good fit.
Hey, Cowboy, when you first got to San Fran, I remember it was 2008. So, yeah, going into my second year, I remember them talking about looking for a linebacker. They was looking at I think it was like Jeremiah Trotter was one, and then there was another one. Then I didn't know that they was looking at Takeo, but I remember, man, getting him, that was one of the best things that happened. But getting you was even greater. But a lot of people don't know. But take them through when you got to San Fran. They were trying you at outside linebacker for a second, and then I guess you just went down to the defensive tackle or defensive end, depending on how you want to, categorize.
Well, Minuski, and then they had me an outside backer, and then it wasn't.
Did they ask you to cover?
A little bit.
I remember they had them dropping out in one of these defensive.
How the fuck was that, Cowboy?
They would always drop me inside on third down, so I get to go against the guards and the centers and stuff. So I was like, okay, I like this. First, second down, you just squeezing the edge. You said, anybody do that? So you got to drop in coverage. And it was, I think Mike Nolan got fired.
He deserved it?
He got fired. So Mike Nolan got fired, and then Singletary became the intern coach.
Yep.
And then he kind of let Minuski just do whatever. He's like, all right, we're going to take your slow ass off the edge and put you inside, Minuski. So then they had, who they have? P-Town on the end and Manny.
Yep.
A couple of guys. And then we started just really running just a straight up 3-4. But we were all undersized for 3-4 D linemen. Shit.
Yeah. We had pretty good. I feel like we had pretty good tools too, though. Because the way we would the communications and the way we would do certain things, whether it's our checks, the way we knew how to squeeze down. But I didn't realize it then. But we were kind of small to be 3-4 guys. But we also ran a lot of like under fronts as well. So we wasn't true odd 3-4. But because at first I was like, man, why y'all draft me and got me in this 3-4 defense? Now I got to be taking on guards the whole time. But then when I started learning like how Minuski had the over and under, it kind of covered me up in certain ways. And then having Abrayo and then Justin, man, I could almost eat. I could eat.
Only like true 3-4 D lineman in there because he was like 300-something pounds at nose guard.
Yeah.
They were 285 pounds. Like that was unheard of. You always had 300-pound plus guys in that odd front.
Yeah.
So it kind of happened, I think, looking back on it, just complete luck and Minuski and them saying, fuck it. we're going to get fired anyway. We see what we can do. And then we just kind of took a not really for the NFL. If a GM was going in and draft dudes for those positions, they would have never touched a lot of us.
Yeah.
It ended up, and I think that changed the NFL for a little bit. They started getting smaller, quicker 3-4 D linemen and shit. But it was all just straight up luck. I mean, none of us. I was laughing when they put me head up on a tackle too. I was like, we'll see what happens.
But then it all turns into a blessing. Now, Vic Fangio comes in. He's a master in the 3-4 scheme. He uses strength in certain areas, but he loves quickness and speed and power. And he allows every level of his defense to make communication checks based on their knowledge and intellect of the game. So Vic Fangio comes in, 3-4 system, your game takes off, you elevate, you bring in Alden Smith. How did the Mike Nolan, Mike Singletary pieces fit into Vic's scheme, and how important was Vic's scheme to your end of your career?
Well, I think with Minuski, it was a little bit more regimented on what we could and couldn't do until we started doing some of our own pass rush stunts. Because, when you're always just trying to call it from the box, like a combo stunt where you got a Tex on one side, an easy game on the other side, they do all that motioning and shit, and all of a sudden you're guessing. So you're going off, is it trips near? Last time we looked at trips near, I said, why y'all looking at all that shit? They point. I said, they pointing at the mic. They're telling us, Rip Liz, you know where the center's going. You guys don't. You're in a box. You're on the sideline. So once they started believing us that we knew what the hell we were doing, they started letting us run basically protection beaters. And it not caused off what they were calling from the box. But there's not a lot of coaches that would give you the leeway to do that. And that kind of evolved through Minuski, and then with Tom Sula being retained, I think that really evolved with us not being around in 2011 in the lockout when Fangio showed up, because he only had a month with us in training camp. So Tom Sula just kind of let us keep doing what we were doing, and Vic was allowing us to do it. He used to tell me all the time, he goes, I'll let you all run that shit. And he goes, but as soon as y'all fuck up, it's over.
Absolutely. And guess what? You had to be able to read run pass. You had to know where the line was sliding in protection. You had to know who to affect and how to affect them, all the way down to the most intricate detail. And you and Alden had a thing where you didn't want to explain this years when you were playing. Remember they asked you guys to do that video?
Oh, yeah.
Like show how you was doing the hook and allow him to come under. Absolutely. But, we're 10, 12 years removed. We have to explain this. Can you explain how, Vic Fangio allowing guys to make calls out there actually led to you and Alden running, what was it called, a TE stunt?
TE stunt. But what really happened, and this is just by sheer luck again. Remember how the ref used to sit right in the middle with the
umpire, right?
They moved him to behind the O-line.
Right.
So he couldn't see what the hell I was doing because he was no longer there. So anytime, especially most people forget too, with Alden and whoever, it didn't matter, P-Town, Manny, it was even before Fangio got there, we would always put a Tex on the backside when it was a run. Mm-hmm. And the center was away. I knew the center was going away. Let me get vertical in case it's a play action. And then
he fell inside.
Alden can come under, and I can still contain through the B gap. So Alden made so many plays on the backside on those stretch runs because they were running untouched. And that was just them giving us the leeway to do that and trust us, and trust me to get contained through that B gap.
And then explain that technique for us when you went up and under, hook that guy and allow Alden to come inside. Because we're going to put video with this, and it's going to fucking go viral.
It's really simple, and I think these guys can still do it because I don't think the umps or the referee has moved back into the linebacker box. I'm not sure of that, but I don't think he has. But anyway, all you do is you get as wide as you can on the guard. You're not tight. You get almost basically head up on the tackle because that tackle has the threat from the end. So he's not even looking at you. He's kick stepping as hard as he can and making room to get out on that defensive end. That guard has to stretch and overset, and you just chop his outside hand and bring it up like an uppercut and hook his inside arm. And you just got to, like, peripheral vision, wait for that dude to clear, and you release him. And then the tackle's usually behind you. Shit, I got more sacks, bunch of sacks, just because the guard would do a 360 rollout trying to block Alden, Ahmad, P-Town, and the tackle didn't know what the hell's going on. And then I was like, I didn't do shit. They stopped blocking me. They didn't know what the hell was going on.
So you see the intricacies, Rod?
Listen, that was the question I wanted to ask, because they've been running games since they've started pumping up footballs. I wanted to know why you and Alden, why that TE stunt was so successful. And come to find out, it was just simple as, hey, man, we could just read what they were doing, and we just basically used their momentum against them, and we got off the way we did. To just find out it was that simple is because most of the time, the simplest explanation is the best explanation.
But you missed one of the major components. The coaches trusted the players.
Exactly.
Nowadays, football is so static to where nobody can trust anybody out there. You want to control every little detail, and that's not how football works. Even in the secondary and with the linebackers, if you watch every film, every play that we played, you'll see Navarro and Patrick looking back at the safeties to see what call we made, because Vic gave us 5 or 6 different options.
Well, the other key to that stunt working too that nobody really knows, and we would do it all the time when we were doing pass rush, and Pat would be in there and Navarro, or if it was Spikes before, if they get tight on that center can soft set and he can help out even though he's supposed to go the other way. Pat and Navarro, since they were so damn fast, could get out of position by alignment to make that center have to run. So it opened up that gap even that much more than it ever should have been, because when I'm watching games and stuff now, I'll see the linebackers stacked in tight. And I'm like, you all got to stretch that box. Remember we'd be saying that all the time? Yeah. Your shadow, you're wrong. You got to get outside these numbers to make that center stretch. And they were so scared of Pat and Navarro that the center would come bailing out of there because he had to go help in case they did blitz.
Man,
that was the key to it.
Hey, Justin, as I hear you talking right now, and I'm thinking back, man, I think back on how much work a lot of people. I mean, hearing Donte talk about, the coaches trusting us, just because we put in the work each and every day, like whether it was run fits or whether it was pass rush or whether it was you guys making the calls yourselves. Man, it was special to be a part of, because I know when they talk about now, like, man, you can still come back. Look at you. You looked the part. And I'm like, man, the Cowboy would always say, if we only played the game when we felt good, we would never play. But most importantly, these guys don't understand, man, without you guys and the way we truly worked every single day, we didn't just show up and just lift a few weights and just go out there and do the bare minimum. We spent time after practice. We spent time in the weight room. We spent time getting stronger during the season. And that's everything that when people say, man, you could come back, you could still make a tackle. I'm like, yeah, but man, what I built with those guys, the camaraderie, the days in and days out, it wouldn't be the same. I feel like I would just be a shell of myself. And so, man, I credit you being a big part of that. And I was just grateful to be a part of you guys and everything we was able to accomplish. I know we didn't get the big thing done, but God dang, man, it was a joy to play with you guys.
And there was a couple of things I took from the locker room as well, when you would always run around screaming, you better enjoy this shit while it lasts. Remember that?
Hey, true. Hey, I didn't know how true that was.
It's true, right?
It's true as hell.
Man, that was your one thing you would say that for sure. Like, you fuckos, man, you better enjoy it while we have it, because when it's gone, it's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone. But I mean, like P-Town P. Willie was saying, Dude, we have front seven meetings. I've never heard before or after units having front seven run fits, or how because Pat and them realized where they aligned, how that affected the O-line playing us, and where the center could help. So on the edges, it really doesn't matter because that DN has that tackle. But inside, it's the center and two guards are working as a unit to block not only the two interior guys, but whoever may be coming on a blitz. Mm-hmm. So once you can understand how to play together and force that center to get wide, it changes the game. I've tried talking to dudes about that since, and I can't get anybody to understand it.
So all of that production, all of that work, that hidden work, it led to success. 2011 comes. All of that work, the free agents, we off the lockout. Bam. Culturally, it shifted. Structurally, systematically, it shifted. We have fucking immediate success. How did that turning point right there factor into the way that we almost won that Super Bowl within those 3 years?
Well, exactly like you're saying, you coming from Buffalo, you were knocking dudes out cold. You knocked yourself out cold a couple times.
Yeah, you remember the one with Pierre Thomas? When I look at that video, I can see you looking at me like this. And I'm walking off like the guy, like, man, clean up the mess.
I was like, this guy doesn't give a damn about himself.
Yeah. Hey, fuck, I put it on the line. Fuck,
you were right.
You go reckless out there.
There's a lot of people that would have went for the ankles on that play. I'm like, no, I'm gonna knock you the fuck out.
With the hitter. So, it was that identity and all of us coming together with that identity, taking pride and not having 100-yard rushers. And, usually you guys, the safeties, were just as important as the rest of us up front. And you guys stayed back in that two deep shell and just
crushed motherfucker
receivers. You guys couldn't even play it nowadays. You guys have been kicked out so damn fast.
Deshaun.
Yeah, just the missile. The bottle rifle.
Man, we were like, what we did early on in our career, a lot of people don't give us a lot of credit, neither, Justin, because we was able to stop the run with just a 7-man box, and that was really unheard of. But it kind of goes back to what Justin was saying, though, that the way we learn how to work off one another. I remember it would be times when, I would get frustrated. I was like, God dang, Vic, man, you paying Donte and Deshaun all this money, man. Why can't they cover these tight ends, man? Why I got to be out here covering these tight ends? But because of the way we was able to do certain things and work in the box, it made our defense stronger. And I didn't understand how important having that two shell was. But shit, man, you go back to how Cowboy, what would you say as a man, you had a lot of sacks, man. You made God dang, I don't want to jump ahead, but man, you was a hell of a playmaker when I think back on it. Like,
hey, I'll tell you about that light box, how we're able to do it. That happened by happenstance too. We were playing Philadelphia, and you know how everybody, wherever you had played before, if you were on that down forefront, everybody's lined in a shade in a 3. And that's why they do all that motioning and bullshit to get the angles on you. So finally, we were playing, I want to say Michael Vick in Philly. And they were trapping us, whamming us, down and around in us. Ray, and I go, man, fuck this. I said, let's get 2 head-ups on the guards, and they go slow everything down. So we got 2 head-ups, and, dude, it turned into like slow motion jelly instead of down, around. They didn't know where to go. And it slowed everything down so much. And you got everybody else, Pat, Navarro, the edges getting crushed. They couldn't go nowhere. But when you stay in those angles, it's all Jimmy T would always say, it's all about angles.
Yeah.
And that's all an offensive coordinator is ever doing when he's doing all that. What did Manusky say? I'll show you a
fruit salad. A fruit salad. And
fruit over here and shit out of fruit salad over there. And he goes, once he got rid of all that motion and shit, dude, they just come out. They wouldn't even have motion hardly anymore because it didn't matter. They didn't get any angles on us.
You know what? I can see that, and that's what I see in today's game. Believe it or not, like I say to myself, I look at the offense and I see how they running and see how they scheming. I'm like, man, if those boys on defense are playing individual ball. If they learn to play together, meaning, like you say, if you got a eye back, a near eye back, telling that backside guy, to squeeze down instead of as the three to squeeze down a little bit, opposed to just staying out wide. Because if you stay out wide now, you're gonna make the gap that much bigger in the middle. So it was just little things that we had, like little calls, man, that made the difference in the world. Clip it, zone, like just small things that made the difference. Because now I see it, I'm like, man, that's why they keep getting gashed. Why don't he squeeze down? Why does he stand out there for what? But
Well, not only that, but like I know as an interior D lineman, when I watch a little football now, I'll see the center is sliding to him. The guard oversets him, and what does he do every time? He swims back into the center.
mm-hmm.
I was like, dude, he's pointing at you. You know he's coming to you. Why would you do an inside swim move when you know you're going to get locked up by two dudes?
Yeah.
It's just the little knick-knacky shit like that. I really didn't watch it.
Here's what's so cool about this conversation is you would think you guys, the way you hit, the way you guys were able to stop the run, it was all about just force and just brute strength. And that was a big part of it. But to hear you guys talk about your individual football intelligence and how y'all brought that to a collective football intelligence and how that made you better in certain areas, and then your coaches, because you guys knew exactly what you were seeing and what you were doing, that gave you the freedom and the leeway to kind of play the way that you wanted to play. Just how cerebral you guys were individually and collectively on that defense. And that was just as important as Donte going out there and hitting people, or Justin, you taking two guys, putting them out of the way so Alden and the rest of those guys can get sacks.
I mean, you're 100% right. I mean, all of us together individually would have had still great success and did anywhere you go, but it wasn't until we all got together and started playing smart ball together and for a common purpose and winning, and after guys get their money and get out of the draft a little bit, you got to let that selfish bullshit go away a little bit and be like, I may not be the guy in this play, but I'm going to do everything I can to make sure this guy will be the free runner. This guy will be the free hitter. This guy can fluff out to the zone and come back and get the pick. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's like once you start playing selfish ball, that's when you actually have a chance in playing your role in the defense, not just be out there. I mean, we've all played with dudes like, oh, all I got to do is get my catches or my sacks or my yards. And you're just like, shit, we're just out here wasting time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're just playing, collecting a check and going home. And I've been on those teams. And that's no fun.
And that's funny for this next lead-in, because when I think about one attribute that none of us has mentioned, and when you think back to the Cowboys and the Steelers of the 80s and, the teams that won Super Bowls, they had one attribute that we had a bunch of crazy motherfuckers that had to like to have a good time off the field. They gonna come to work. They gonna work hard, but they gonna fucking party like the world is ending. And you lived across the street from Ahmad Brooks. And this is a contributing factor. When you have teammates that hang out together, have fun, go to nightclubs, they might get drunk. Man, I swear to God, the brotherhood on the field is like tight. So you got to give us some stories about living across the street from Ahmad Brooks. And then I want you to defend yourself with what Delaney Walker said. He said the first team party you attended, he said you had a couple natty lights, you fucking headbutted Joe Staley and threw his outdoor furniture into the goddamn fire. What do you have to say about this, Kyle?
No, Joe wasn't there. So the funny part about this story was I had just showed up and I knew like Sean Hill and some of these other guys were going over to Joe's house. It's like, okay. And I think like Adam Snyder and some of these other dudes were there. It's mainly O-linemen. And they were calling Joe on the phone, and it was his first house he'd ever bought. So he's very protective of his house. He's like, and they had a little bonfire out there. So we ran out of bonfire. I said, well, shit, we got teak patio furniture that the Rook just bought. Let's burn all this bullshit. And they're like, oh,
that's that cheap shit.
That's that cheap shit from IKEA. He's a rookie. You don't know about nothing yet. This ain't Tommy Bahama. So I started burning his shit. And then Joe was flipping out. And then I think the other shit, that's kind of bullshit because me and Joe used to hit all the time in practice. I think that's where he busted his nose. Y'all mix like 2-3 stories up.
Yeah, I know, right? I was asking, but the way they clipped it made it sound like I was saying like that's when it happened. I was saying, is that how it happened? But I wasn't sure how yeah.
I mean, hell, Joe's got a nose like a horse. Nose that we bang that thing on. But we used to knock heads, especially with Singletary's camps, boy. We about kill each other, but we all had a good time, man. Pat used to always have some get-togethers from time to time. Ray, some of that other stuff. So we had. It felt like I was in college again, honestly. And I mean, it was some of the best years of my life, man. It was fun. We had a great time. We were winning, having fun, brotherhood. Man, it was great.
And then you had a few guys that took it too far. Alden Smith really took it too far, right? When you look back at those times, is there anything that you wish that, or I feel like I wish I could have helped him and did more, said more, probably spent more time with him. It probably would have turned out differently. And then I know you were in the same room with him. Do you ever wish or think back like maybe I could have done more to actually help Alden? Because a lot was lost with the way his career ended.
Dude, very tragic with what happened with Alden. I don't know. We'd all talked to him before, but like he was just I think he had a different perception of what he had to be, and I don't think he was really that guy. The just be an asshole. That's what he was portraying. Yeah, I don't think
he don't give a fuck.
I don't give a shit. Fuck you, talking shit, and I don't think that was really who he was. So when you're trying to act like somebody you ain't, I think you have a little identity crisis with that. And I think, I spoke with Alden some since the years have passed, and he's a calm, mellow dude now and all that shit, but I don't know what it was. And I think, too, he had so much success out the gate, not only individually, but we were a really damn good team in 2011, too. Mm-hmm. I think it was just, obviously everybody here has had success, but like the winning, the dude,
22 and a half sacks.
Broke the sack record. He's the next Reggie White, and the money, just too much spotlight at the
and
jump.
That's what you used to always say. Another one of your slogans in the locker room: "You motherfuckers better learn how to be bored."
You're right.
Right? Like being bored is not a bad thing. I remember these slogans. I'm like, man, these things are embedded in my head. So anytime nowadays when I think I want to go do some shit, I always hear you in my head say, "You motherfuckers better learn how to deal with boredom."
One thing with a lot of guys that have said, you're full speed, right? And that's everything you do. So you better pick where you're going full speed at and how you're doing it and who you're doing it in front of, because that can lead to some bad shit real quick. And especially now, all this social media and whatever else they have out there.
And every day I pick up my phone and I see a young kid moving too fast, I think of you. I swear to you. Whenever I see a young kid chasing some chick and getting assault and one of the kids commits suicide or something, I'm like, oh my God, this is really what that meant. It might have meant like nothing to anybody else, but I fucking internalized that. Right? When I want to go and do something, I want to go against my natural urge, right? To go out and like release energy. I always think of what you said in those moments.
Yeah, it's hard, especially, think of these college kids nowadays with $400,000 or $500,000 in their pocket. Like good luck.
Good. Hey, what would Singletary say to us? Singletary would say to us when he was the head coach, he would say, All right, guys, nothing good comes after 10 o'clock, you know, and as a rookie and second year guy, I'm thinking like, man, what you talking about 10 o'clock? I mean, man, at least give us a 12. What do you mean? But now that I'm older, 40, yeah, there ain't nothing really great happening after 10 o'clock. You know, it's just best to be on in your house and doing whatever it is you're going to do
The
in
one
the home opposed to being out and about.
about it, the one I remember was Harbaugh. Harbaugh said, guys,
Yeah.
when I get here, I'm gate to gate. So he would leave the San Francisco gate and he would go straight to his house gate.
Yeah.
I never really thought about it until I thought about it a couple times. Like, and he's always like, stay in these walls, guys. Stay in the walls of the facility. Don't ever leave this sanctuary because it ain't shit you really want outside there. And he's right on that too.
Can I add one thing about Alden Smith? People not you guys, but people forget how young he was. He was, and this is not to be paternalistic. This is not to throw shade at him, but he was a baby. And you guys talked about all the success he had on the field, all the stuff that comes off the field with that on the field success. And he sees you and other grown men on that team, and you guys have been through some stuff, and you're carrying yourself a genuine way, a certain way. All of that stuff's coming at him as a youngster. And I'm not trying to be out of pocket with this, but I think we can all agree, man, it's for him to be that young and basically coming out of obscurity and all of that happening to him so fast. To me, that was a part of why things got out of pocket for him.
And then a lot of times the influences, the rap music, the people that you really look up to, you almost assume their identity. And that's what was really happening. He had money, he had success, and the people around him really weren't old enough to protect him as well. And that's where he started to go down that slippery slope. You can look at a lot of the guys now that come from certain environments and economic backgrounds. They don't really act like themselves, like an athlete, a college graduate. They want to be like a rapper, right? You want to hang out with who the rappers hang out with. You want to date the girls the rappers want to hang out with. But a lot of times that sends us into a place that's not really natural for us. So even when he had that event at his house and the gangbanger showed up there and guys got stabbed and shot and all that shit, that's not really you.
Yeah.
Right? So until we start to like have this self-awareness, we'll continue to make a lot of these same mistakes. But do you guys remember the story when Alden came to the Super Bowl photo shoot with the fake hair in his head though? Y'all remember? When he came with the braids and Jim Harbaugh, he held up the photo shoot for the Super Bowl and made him go take it out?
No, I don't remember that one.
You don't remember that, Pat?
Man, there's too much going on down there.
Oh shit, I was locked
I don't
in.
remember that.
He came with the fake hair all like braided up, and Harbaugh like, no. Alden, somebody take this out of his head and let's take this photo here.
Well, I mean, Alden too was such a freak in the pass rush game because his arms were so damn long. And there would be times I remember he would be dipping and ripping or coming inside, and he would get basically decleated, and he'd just stick his arm down. It was like a leg. I remember watching something. I was just like, "What in the hell?"
like a superhero,
like a kickstand.
Yeah,
he was, what, 6'5", but his arm span was like 7 foot. It was crazy, and he had some unique attributes about him, especially designed for being a pass rusher. And it just sometimes be wary when shit comes at you too fast, too easy, too much. And it's a lot to process for anybody, a lot. And it happens. It happens in the league all the time.
Pat also mentioned another story where Bruce Miller drank an expensive bottle of liquor at a party that Pat had. Do you remember that? You probably don't even remember that.
Oh, you talking about your Louis?
Yeah, his Louis.
I'll tell you what I told Pat about that Louis. I don't know if you remember this one. I gave it to somebody. I was like, shit, take a drink of this shit. We were getting ready to go play, I think, the NFC Championship or something like that.
Yeah. Coming up, we had a bye week, I think it was. It was a bye week and my birthday or something it was, so we was having a little celebration.
Yeah, Pat, he had an awesome house up there, was putting on a good party and had this awesome bar area, and I was like, damn, this is a nice ass house. And I see this Louis up there, so I grab it, start drinking it, hand it around. Pete Willie comes kind of like hustling in there a little bit. I said, if you ain't gonna drink this shit now, when the hell you gonna drink it?
Hey,
You know what I mean?
I was saving it for a Super Bowl.
I said,
Super Bowl win.
We can go get another one.
And that goddamn Super Bowl win never came.
Should have too.
3-4 yards from it. That's the perfect segue into it.
With Frank on the line too, one of the best to do it on short yardage. I mean, the same shit happened with the Seahawks, right?
Yeah.
It's a damn Marshawn. That's the craziest.
So you have any regrets from that night? We bring a lot of guys on. I still have regrets from the way that I played. Do you have any regrets from that night? And after it was all said and done, how did you spend that evening?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I had a torn tricep. My arm wasn't worth a damn in that game, but I regret not being healthy, not playing better, obviously. And then I think after the game, we just went to the after party, which, you know, it sucked. We had lost, you know, but yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's one of those games, you know, you think about your whole life getting to, and then it's like the junkyard dog that actually catches the car. What now what? You know what I mean? Turn it loose, go again. I mean, so, yeah, it was just. I mean, obviously sucked. We lost. I mean, it'd been nice to have that one, and I think we should have had a couple more, honestly. But is what it is.
So when you look at your body of work, I think you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame first ballot. A lot of people that know football, that understand football, that know what you meant to this game. Do you think that not having that Super Bowl affects your candidacy to actually be able to join Pat in Canton?
Number one, Pat obviously deserves it. It was pumped for him to go in, and we're all with him on that. Awesome ass player, Hall of Fame player. But the one thing I will say, as far as should I be in the Hall of Fame, I think there should only be like 2 or 3 guys that go in the Hall of Fame every 4 or 5 years, in my opinion. I don't think it should be a 6 dudes in every year game show. But when they have a Hall of Famer.
But when you think about that, Justin, that's like 0.0001%. Even if you do like 6 guys a year.
Oh, I know. I mean, I just think back to when I watched football. Like, if I think of a Hall of Famer, I think like Reggie White. You know what I mean? Somebody that changed the game in such an undeniable way. And was I one of those guys? I don't know.
If we would have won the Super Bowl, those defenses that we played on would have went down as some of the best in NFL history, and you were the anchor. So I believe yes.
Yeah, well,
think about those 3 years. Think about how dominant we were, and we get the ring. You are like easily in the Hall of Fame. This is what I was telling Pat and Rod. Like, that shit matters.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. I think it's, but you know how I was when I played. I was like, I don't really get
it. Just show up and get it done, man. That's why I appreciate you.
I said, I'd go up, show up, yellow jacket, give a speech. That ain't the highlight of my life. But like, it is important, and for the guys to go in, I'm glad somebody like Pat Stature got in, because he is a Hall of Fame player, and he represents what we did as a defense as well.
Right.
So I'm good with that. Maybe you get in like when you're 80 years old, like they put some of these guys in.
Hey, man,
and then your family comes out there and accept the award.
Hey, I won't even know where the hell I am standing up there. But yeah, I mean, like I'm saying though, I truly believe that. It's like, you know, you don't have so many guys. I think Pat was definitely that guy, and shit, he's representing us all in there.
There you go. There you go.
I'm good with that.
And again, I say it, and I say it right now and then, man. Without you guys, man, I wouldn't. I mean, yes, I probably would have been okay, but not nearly who I was. It was every day that we showed up, every day the way that you guys committed to the game, but then just committed to being great out there. It was fun to play with. I remember days when he wasn't out there. I think it was only a couple of times when you didn't suit up, but I even felt your presence not being out there, and that's how much you meant to me as a teammate. So all you guys.
I mean, dude, we had a hell of a lot of fun. I mean,
We did.
I'd always tell Ray, always right next to me on the D line. I was like, man, can you believe we get paid for this shit sometimes? But you get out there, you're playing with some of the best to ever do it. Donte knocking dudes out, Deshaun knocking dudes out. I mean, come
Carlos Rogers.
Carlos Rogers, Tupac, my guy.
T. Brown.
Tell me that guy didn't look just like Tupac.
Terrell Brown.
What's funny, I didn't even know y'all called him that, but as soon as you said Tupac, I'm like, he's talking about Terrell Brown. He does look like Tupac.
Ian Williams. What's Ian Williams' nickname?
I mean, that guy looked just like Tupac.
What's Ian Williams' nickname?
Oh, Critter.
Hey, man, that's the countryest thing I've heard in a long time.
Like that one. He'd always be something else like, oh, you Critter, man. But dude, we had so much fun. And then late 20s, 30s, I was like, come on. You can't get any better than this.
You can't get any better. Before we get out of here, I want to go take the spotlight off of you and go to your son, Wyatt Smith. St. Thomas Aquinas. He's in his sophomore year right now?
Junior year.
His junior year. Do you see any of yourself in him? Where do you see him currently? And where do you see him in the future?
Well, as far as playing wise, he's bigger, taller, rangier than I am. He's like 6'7".
Oh.
He's played some good ball, and I think just how I shared earlier about like me going to that high school that I got lucky, him being down here it's a outstanding environment, outstanding coaches, outstanding legacy that team has. I'm sure Donte knows being down here, and they won like their 8th straight state championship game, and finally elevated his game, and he was on the Max Preps All-American team, first team, starting to play, starting to get after it. Just he's got to learn, just like all these kids got to learn. Now you got to work. I don't give a damn what you did last year. Now you got to work. What'd you do today? What are you going to do tomorrow? You lifted 3 times last week. How many times are you going to lift this week? It's that mentality and that grind of you never arrived. You were never – you got to wait till it's all said and done, get out and have your little what the hell just happened for 4 or 5 years after you got done playing. Everybody has that little reconciliation time before they even like reach back out to other dudes too. You know what I mean? Like just what the hell? Where am I at? What's going on?
Yeah. It's like you're done with the fantasy, right?
Yeah. It's like, was that a dream? What the hell?
Yeah. Man, a lot of times the money gone, everything's gone. And you're like, man, I finally woke up.
Oh man, that's so real.
Like I always tell people, I talk to Pat or I was like, we'll just give it like 5 years, everybody till their head clears, smoke. Everybody come back around each other gigs. Everybody's first couple of years you retire, everybody's like, hey, what's going on? What you hear?
Hey, everybody go through that. I don't want to say it like that, man, but everybody go through that. I call it the dark night of the soul, but go through that little bit of a little crazy stage or something where you have to.
And if you throw that alcohol on there, you're finished.
Dude, oh shit, yeah.
If you throw the alcohol on top of those psychological issues, you're fucked.
Even the little things. I remember I chipped a tooth like my first year being done. I'm sitting in Missouri. I called Nate Bresky, who was our trainer. I'm like, what do I do? He's just like, go tennis, you dumbass. Like,
Man, hey, we laugh about it right now, but
and it's crazy
it is serious,
because they set you up like this. While you playing, everybody doing everything for you. As soon as you're done, you got to do it all for your fucking self. You got bills piling up. If your ass ain't on it, you're finished. If you don't have a wife, you're finished.
Man, what?
Car start getting repoed, you're finished.
Man,
like this bank account card no longer works, sir. Oh shit, let me go and find one at work. It's
was the asshole get tight?
your stomach You get that pit in your stomach, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
over.
You're like, there's no food in the fridge sometimes. You're like, what in the hell?
Yeah, man. You eating that one Subway sandwich, $6.99 a day with a cookie.
That's right.
Hey, and so all of a sudden you're back to where you came from when you was 9, 10, 11, 12 years old before
Yep.
you realized that football could take you places. You went to those places, and now
You gotta go,
25
your ass
years
gotta
later,
go home.
you're back
If you
there.
go home, you finish, Justin. I tell everybody, if you go home when you retire, your ass is grass. Them people gonna start eating on you and feeding on you and start infecting your brain. You're finished. You'll be at the neighborhood bar 5 days a week.
Yep, I think it was definitely good for me to get down to Fort Lauderdale too, kind of out of my comfort zone, back in, just kind of resettling back in. But it's good. It's good. I'm enjoying watching the boys play sports and stuff like that. A lot of stuff like that. But you're right, man. It's a mind trip. You get out the league, and also you gotta, I tried to say it to myself all the time and to the guys I was playing with. Enjoy the ride. Take a look around every once in a while. But even when you're saying that, you don't even know what the hell you're talking about, because you don't know until you know.
Yeah.
And then you back out and like I said, you're like,
and you don't know that it's going to be the toughest time pretty much of your life. And it probably doesn't even have to do with anything financial. It's just everything that you're addicted to. The applause, the way people look at you when you walk in the room, it changes. You don't have that fucking golden glare anymore. It's like, who's next, right? And if you can't handle that ego hit, you're fucked. I'm telling you. So you got to build something else, which is what we're doing here with the Grit Code. And we appreciate you coming on, my brother. We have so many different snippets and comments that was just excellent from today. This was like the most incredible show. This is our best show to date. And we want to thank you for coming on. Much gratitude. And that'll do it for episode 27 of the Grit Code podcast. And from myself, Rod Brooks, Justin Smith, and Patrick Willis, make sure you follow us on Spotify, Apple, X, Instagram, and YouTube. And remember, it's not just a code, it's a way of life.